Oh,
Oh,
before we start, Sarah, I hope you don't mind. We're going to be recording this call just for the benefit of board members that weren't able to attend the meeting, so
Okay.
that they can listen to our discussions in order for them to make their decision.
Okay.
You're okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Great. Well, good morning. Thank you for joining us today. As I mentioned in my email that I sent out to you to provide you with some context, we're going to go through. We do have limited time, so monitor your time. And the first item, as I mentioned in my email, was to get a brief introduction on yourself and of your background, and get us to know you much better, even though we are very familiar with you. So
Yes, of course. So I'll start with my professional experience. I started out in healthcare, and specifically in a healthcare startup that was funded by the University Health Network. And I spent a lot of time there learning about how to start up a business, specifically in the supply chain management field. I spent a few years there, and then following that, I actually wanted to see what went on behind the scenes in a healthcare setting. So from there, I moved into Trillium Health Partners, as it's now known, in their project management department, and I ended up leading that team for a few years. At that point, I realized that I actually wanted to further my education experience and pursue my CPA. So mid-career, I just decided I wanted to go back to school. And of course, being in a 24/7 critical environment doesn't really lend itself to further education. So I actually ended up moving into financial services. I went there through the IT route. So I spent some time in IT, and then I moved into finance, did some strategic finance, and then finally I ended my career there last January in corporate finance, leading the governance and portfolio functions for all of corporate finance. And that included managing and overseeing a project budget of around $350 million. From there, I took a leap and I decided to go out on my own. And now I consult for startup companies, specifically in finance, and I've done some board consulting as well for not-for-profits. And so I feel like this is my third act, and I'm just getting started on what my next few years are going to look like. And that's in a nutshell where I come from.
perfect. Right on time. So let me jump into the first question that is what I like to call the icebreaker. What attracted you to apply for the director position for the York Angel Investors Board of Directors? And what experience do you feel that you have that would make you an ideal candidate?
So I joined York Angels not too long ago in January. And I was immediately drawn to the wonderful people and, you know, just the culture that you have built within the organization. And I really wanted to be a part of it in a more meaningful capacity. And so when the board positions came up, I spoke to a few board members about my experience, and my experience includes being on boards for nonprofits and also consulting for boards in the last few years. And so I have a really solid background in both finance and board governance, which makes me an excellent candidate. But really the reason I applied ultimately is because I believe in what you do. I come to those meetings. I value the input that you have, not just for me as a member, but also, to the entrepreneurs that you support. And I think it's a great way for me to give back to the community.
Great. And you touched on this, but maybe if you can provide a little bit more context. Uh, 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 do you have any experience, and maybe you can identify them, with not-for-profit organizations, and also in establishing strategies to achieve long-term sustainability?
So for many years, for about 6 years, I was board chair for an adult learning and employment program. And in that time there, I helped move some of the reporting functions and some of the governance details to be a more effective and functional board. So things like, what are the KPIs that we should be following? What are the funding needs of the organization? Not just in the next 12 months, because government funded organizations are, they just live to survive another day. But really, how can we diversify our revenue stream in order to secure different types of funding that are better, non-restricted, funding that we can use to implement, technology changes and things like that. So I spent quite a bit of time in that organization. And then I moved into doing some consulting for not-for-profit boards. So I did code of conduct training, ethics training. I revised board procedures. I worked directly with the CEO of a very large organization. I did a board self-assessment survey, which I created myself and I implemented for that particular organization. So I have experience in boards, not just as a board member or board chair, but also, how to make boards more efficient and better at what they do. And then in terms of sustainability, it's like I mentioned, funding is not all funding is good funding. So we have to find different ways of diversifying our revenue streams, trying to look at, what level of funding is required to sustain us in the future? Can there be any other revenue streams for us? Any synergies with other groups that are similar to us? Can we partner with them? Can we leverage each other to do better or to do different? So I hope that answers your question, Angelo. I can dig deeper if you like.
Yeah, no, that was great, Sarah. So the next one is, can you describe your experience in developing and building community and or managing stakeholder groups, including the angel investment community?
So from an angel investor group, I am working with startups right now. And just to give a little bit of history on the one particular company that I'm working with, they are graduates of Y Combinator. They've done a lot of fundraising in the US. And, they're at an inflection point in their journey right now. And what I have tried to do for them is, help them see that there is an ecosystem right here where they can also raise funding. And so through, helping them with their fundraising and helping them understand the angel investor ecosystem here, I'm trying to bring them into the fold so that, they also can be a part of the rise of, the Canadian startup. So it's really about bringing people into the fold. And as you know, I try to bring a guest every time I come to those meetings. I'm always knocking on doors and saying, who wants to come with me as a guest to the York Angels in-person meetings. And it's just, being open to different ideas that the members have, and listening to everyone and talking to everyone at these in-person meetings.
Great. And the last question I have, and we'll go through it fairly quickly. The York Angels Investors Board of Directors have established committees focused on setting strategies to advance its key strengths, such as membership and sponsorship, relationships, governance, finance, HR, and legal. How do you envision your experience as a director in enhancing these key areas?
Well, I think my strength is definitely in finance and governance. So I bring a lot of experience in terms of, not just operational finance, but also strategic finance. And then on the governance side, as I mentioned before, I've worked with nonprofits in, tightening up their procedures, their bylaws, and helping them really be more efficient in their meetings. So, things like consent agendas, working through some of the more easier items up front, and then really leaving time for those strategic conversations. I think those are things that would really help YAI.
Great. Thank you so much. And I wish we had
Ooh, that was quick.
an hour and a half, but good job, Saira. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at the investment meeting.
Yes, I will be there.
We'll let you know on the next step once we've had a chance to go through and have discussions with all of our candidates.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. Take care.
Thanks,
See you
Sarah.
tomorrow. Bye.
Thanks. See you. Bye-bye.
Okay, she left.
Okay.
So next one is Aaron.
Yeah.
And anybody wants to grab a coffee? You've got 2.5 minutes left.
I'm going to grab a coffee.
I knew you would, Fredos.
Can you get one for me while you're up?
He's sending it to you, Angelo. Open the door.
All right. So from a timing point of view, I think it went
Yeah,
quite close to.
actually pretty much on time. Galen,
What's that?
did you keep the time? And
Yeah, it was just over 10 minutes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron is in. Shall I let him in or no?
Let's
Wait
just
for-
hold on till
Yeah. Fredos comes back.
Curtis
Yeah.
comes back and anybody else.
So I'm just going to tell him to wait for 1 minute.
The other is, I'm not sure, I think from a respectfulness perspective, if people can throw their cameras on, I just want to make sure that we're being respectful for the people that are here, that they know that there's other people there watching them. It'd be great if we could have the cameras on. And I know some people,
No problem.
some are trying to multitask and some are
Yeah.
having
I'm doing my breakfast along with, so
Look at you wearing a tie. Oh my God.
I have to, man.
Well, at least we're color coordinated, Ajay. I have
Yes.
a red top and you have a red tie.
Yes, Angela. We're always color coordinated. We're like brothers from another mother.
Exactly. And we didn't even text each other to say, hey, make sure you wear red today. So we think alike, okay?
Like, yes.
So I just let Aaron know to give us 1 minute. So Frida's coffee takes longer.
Well, it depends on that machine. And as you can see, we are located in the exact same location. If you look at our background.
Could bring you. If we see him walk in behind you, then it's going to be a little bit freaky.
Oh my goodness, look at Ajay with the tie, hair tied back. My goodness.
Oh, you're on mute, Ajay.
I'm gonna use the opportunity to walk around with my laptop and grab a cup of coffee.
Oh,
All right.
it's almost time. It's 15. I should let him in.
Yes.
How about that, gentleman and
Yeah,
lady?
let's let Aaron
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
And here's Firdos. Okay, we're back.
Participation, admin. Hello, Aaron.
Good
Good
morning,
morning.
Aaron. How are you today?
Morning, how are you?
Great, thank you. So thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And we have, as I mentioned in my email to you, Aaron, we have limited time, right? So I want you to be cognizant of that. And if you don't mind, we'll jump right into it. But before we go in, we are recording this call for the benefit of some members that weren't able to attend, so that they could listen to it in order to provide their input as we make our decision. So if you're okay with that, we can proceed.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, great. So as I mentioned in my context email to you, Aaron, like to start out by maybe spending 2 to 3 minutes to give a brief introduction of yourself, so we can get to know you better, we have good insight, but I want the rest of the board to learn about you also, Aaron.
Okay, hi everybody that I haven't met in person yet. I have we joined the York Angels, I guess, as our second term now with a corporate membership. We came from the east side of the city, from the Spark Angels there. A couple friends over here were in both, so they got us to come and check it out, and we fell in love with it, and we're gonna stay for a little while. So when I say we, it's my wife and I were partners in life and partners in business. What we did is a few years ago we started a venture capital corporation, designed just for stuff that the Angel Network and the Angels stuff does. So a lot of our business comes from in the past development, construction, real estate, investments like that. So that's how we kind of built ourselves into the position to kind of change the way we do life, so that we can be a little bit more remote and give a little bit more back, rather than just giving to the man and trying to make money for ourselves. So the purpose of putting my hand up for this job is just because I see a need. New directions for York Angels seem to be aligned with how business is changing these days, and certainly with the way that we're changing the way we do business in our house and in our neighborhood. So the directional is pretty parallel, and it seems like a good fit if you need the extra hands around. The idea would be that obviously you get all the right people. So if you have 70 people applying, obviously that'd be great to have the top 4 out of that, but certainly can help if you need anything from us or from me.
Great, thank you, Aaron. So we'll jump into the questions, and so the first one is more of an icebreaker, and you may have touched on some of these things as we go through the question in your intro. But so the first one is, what attracted you to apply for the director position for the York Angel Investors Board of Directors? And what experience do you feel you have that would make you an ideal candidate?
You mean for the original, for this position here?
Yes.
It just seemed, well, if the spots are open, a few of my colleagues from the organization there were talking about it, and sometimes we hang out and do some things outside of York Angels, which is good too. So a couple conversations came up that the positions were coming up, and then some background conversations with some other people say maybe we should put our hands in and see if we can help the organization out. So that's it. Recently, I had a little bit of extra time allotted to me because of an exit that we did. Not saying I have all the time in the world, but just the timing was right. And if you needed it and we're the right people or I'm the right person, then great.
Great. Well, congratulations on the exit, Darren. So the next question is, do you have experience with not-for-profit organizations and establishing strategies to achieve long-term sustainability?
Yes, actually, I've some of my military experiences within operations, and since I guess 2001, I've been part of an operational non-public funded with the military within the military. So they operate the exact same. They are nonprofit organizations. They're just not publicly, you can't just publicly join them. So, but they are run the exact same way, from presidents, vice presidents. You have secretaries, the committees, approvals, all that kind of stuff works at a tiered system. It's all the exact same stuff. So I spent about 7 years as a president in that situation, and then through other parts of the committees as well. So I'm very familiar with how that stuff works.
And also, can you describe your experience in developing and building a community and/or managing stakeholder groups, including the angel investment community?
Well, I look at that as maybe a generational thing. So these days, my mindset would be focusing more on sustainability, meaning that we all have come from a generation with a certain mindset, but everybody here who has children and whatnot know that the world is going to be thinking way different than we are in the next phase, in the next 2 generations. So in my mindset, it is focused around new ways of doing business, thinking outside the box, not being stuck to just the way it's always been done, because changes are either tomorrow or within the next 30 years for sure, right? So.
Great. Also, the York Angel Investors Board of Directors have established committees focused on establishing and setting strategies to advance its key strengths, such as membership / sponsorship relationships, governance, finance, HR, and legal. How do you envision your experience as a director in enhancing one or more of these key areas?
Mostly structurally. Obviously, if you're going to be having all these committees, I'm assuming you're calling them subcommittees, that usually have one of the directors or something heading it, right? So structurally understanding the system and how it actually works and how to get the benefits from it. Because one thing that is tried and true and probably will not change is the approach to how to run a committee or a subcommittee, right? So.
Galen, you have a question?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Sometimes I can't see hands going up.
It's okay.
I
Yeah,
apologize
me
after
too.
your last question. Once you get your last one, then if there's time, I have one other question.
I've gone through the key questions that I wanted to touch on. So Galen,
Great. Aaron, pleasure to meet you. Thank you very much for stepping forward for this opportunity. You mentioned something in one of your answers regarding looking at trying to make change and being progressive in what we want to do. How would you balance that against risk and risk management, where a board's requirement is to really look at looking at their whole risk management of the organization? So can you just talk a little bit about how you would see balancing those two?
I like that question. I guess it comes down to maybe leadership. Any position like this, you have to be humble. And sometimes a good idea can be blurred with maybe some ego or some pride behind it. Anybody in a position to have a vote or to make a decision should have the ability to weigh all sides of everything. And that should come from a standpoint of you know what I mean? It takes a lot for a person to get there, you know, mentally. You have to have a lot of different experiences in life to teach you that, right? So, and in business. So I think the checking the ego at the door, and having a understanding about how you're supposed to look at things outside of what you might think yourself is the best way to help make a decision of where you would vote anyways, or if you're making the decision.
Okay, I appreciate that. Another quick follow-up as well. And again, thank you very much for your service, by the way, in the armed forces. That's fantastic to have that kind of career. Obviously, there's a lot of elements inside of your long history in there that you probably can't divulge over, but maybe if you can talk a little bit about, do you have any experience on leadership and HR side? So did you command groups? Did you get involved in anything around kind of human resources and management?
Yes, so I'm still there now. I teach part-time and I work in operations. So I did a couple of tours through the Middle East and stuff like that. And then once I came home, I started taking leadership courses. So I have been to some military college for leadership courses, and I spent quite a bit of on the job as a commander of smaller groups until when COVID came. The military deployed to the long-term care facilities. I'm not sure if you knew that. I was placed in charge of one of the units that looked after two of the facilities, and with that, deploying our own soldiers within the domestic operation obviously has its logistics, right? So, and they have this expression there called amateurs talk tactics, professionals talk logistics. I don't know if you've heard anything like that before, but that's kind of the outlook there, right? So, and when you're dealing with people's lives or family members and stuff like that, it becomes a lot more important than maybe a couple dollars here and there, right? So, and after that, I moved into national operations where I worked closely with people at the provincial and national levels in operations as well. So that was all about planning from timelines to executions. And I don't know if you have ever worked with any military before, but if there's one thing they do well, it's their planning process, right? So that's where I come from. That's my background is.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Aaron. Appreciate that. And again, thank you again for your service.
All right, thank you so much, Aaron. We will get back to you on the next steps within the next couple of days. Okay, we're having our discussions today and tomorrow, and we'll update you as soon as possible. So once again, thank you, and I want to echo Galen's regards on your service and continued service. So you're helping us be healthy. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, no rush. I'm easy. Have a good day.
All right, take care.
All right.
So
Next one is just a couple minutes, right?
yeah, James, in 2 minutes. According to the atomic clock that I have just beside me, but
There, I think Anna just stepped away. There she is. Okay.
Yeah, I'm back. Okay, James is online. We got 2 minutes. I'm just going to text him that to wait. Go ahead, Galen, sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just, I saw your thing. I'm like, just step away for 1 second.
Guys, I'm stepping off camera because I'm munching my breakfast, but I'll be right back as soon as the next candidate comes in.
not a problem, Ajay. Have an extra bite for me, okay?
If you send me your email address, I'll actually forward it to you. Sorry, guys, my day usually starts at 7 a.m. because the moment I wake up, I have to respond to all client messages. They're usually overseas, so I get the messages in the morning. The file processing comes in early in the morning. Usually, I don't know what's with the government systems. They usually tend to send me emails at 4 a.m. So I prefer to knock all of that before I even get to work. It's just so much easier the rest of the day then.
And Firdaus, it's good to see that both you and I share the same office.
We do, but we're at different ends, I guess, right? Because I can't quite see you. There's a partition in a way.
Yeah, I'm behind the pillar next to the water cooler and
I'm near the coffee machine.
exactly.
Okay, perfect. Let's admit.
All right, great. Good morning, James. How are you?
Hey, everybody's here. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for joining us today, James. Hopefully you had a wonderful weekend and you enjoyed your downtime. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Uh,
Always.
So as I mentioned in my email that I sent out, we do have limited time, so I want you to monitor your time. But take a deep breath, okay? You're all
No
amongst
worries.
friends.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned, the first thing that I'd like us to do is to get you to is to get us to know you better, right? So
Sure.
maybe if you can start by giving a brief introduction about yourself and your background.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I've known you guys for quite some time, so I'm not sure there's a lot more I can add. So first of all, my name is James. Good to be here. Happy seeing you guys. I started my own companies a long time ago, except from a robotic company and then a semiconductor company. Ever since then, I sort of just became like a early stage company investors and advisors. And currently, I'm a member of CBCA. I have a little fund, and it was very nice of them. My fund is considered to be the feeder fund. So I'm a member of a good standing over at CBCA. I don't do a lot of investments with York Angel, but I do make investments on my own. Currently, I have a couple companies, two of which I co-invested with Angelo. One is in a nano satellite company. I believe it's doing quite well from that's my sense. I like the way where they're going. And another company I co-invested with Angelo is the AR company. It has a very specific niche applications in firefighting. I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out. I hope Angelo feels the same too. But other than that, I see you guys quite often at the events, and I see you guys tomorrow as well.
Great, thank you. So perfect on the timing. So I'd like to jump into the questions that we'd like to have you get some feedback on, provide us with some feedback on.
Sure.
So the first one is more of an icebreaker, James. What attracted you to apply for the director position for the York Angel Investors Board of Directors? And what
Sure.
let me finish. And what experience do you feel you have that would make you an ideal candidate as a director?
Oh, okay. Thank you. These are very good questions, but really how I got the ideas really, I've been a member of a York Angel Group for maybe 2 years, but before that, I have always been a guest of some members, and I always have pretty positive experience with the York Angel Group, and I feel like there's something I can bring to the table to enhance that positive experience, and I feel there's a lot of good people at York Angel and of course on the board. And I feel like this is a way for me to broaden my horizon. And I like to be involved and maybe give back a little bit back to the community. I'm getting a little bit older now, so I feel I should do that. So that's really my motivation. And the second question is that what I can bring to the table. I've been on the board of several companies. Obviously, companies are very different from nonprofits such as York Angel, but I've been through CVCA's governance program. I received a certificate, so I feel I can bring a little bit of insights of how investor groups should run their governance. I'm not sure there's much I can add, but I like to share my experiences. And all in all, I feel, just keep York Angel Group going and going at the right direction. And hopefully I can help everybody and every member to have feel that they're having a terrific time and they can learn, they're learning something from the events that we're holding. Yeah, basically that's it.
Okay, and that leads perfectly into this next question. Do you have any experience with not-for-profit organizations and establishing strategies to achieve long-term sustainability?
Nothing comes to my mind, but I'm sure that I have, because I've been involved with a couple of nonprofits a long time ago in the past. But I think if we can, I think with working as a part of a team, part of the board with other people, if we can identify the strategic value we're trying to bring to the organization and to the members, and I feel like I definitely can learn from my fellow members and then add my 2 cents to it.
All right, great. So can you describe your experience in developing and building a community and or managing stakeholder groups, including the angel investment community?
This is a very loaded question. I've been involved with a couple of University of Toronto's incubators. I always manage to help them to identify potential deal flows. It's sort of in a semi-systematic way, and I've been on the boards or panel as a panel speakers for Ryerson's DMZ and all that. So I have quite a bit of experiences, but I haven't given this question a lot of thought, so I can't really articulate well right now. But what I can tell you is that I've been panel speakers on a couple of community-driven organizations, such as Ryerson's DMZ, U of T's incubators, and then there's one up in New Market Tree Frog. But the more professional ones are like I've been the guest speaker or panel speakers with a World Financial Symposium. I've been on the panel speakers with Coalitions. I'm sure all of you have know Coalition. Coalition's been doing their events in Toronto. So yeah, basically that's it.
Okay, so one other area that I'd like to touch on, the York Angel Investors Board of Directors have established committees focused on setting strategies to advance its key strengths, such as membership / sponsorship, relationships, governance, finance, HR, and legal. How do you envision your experience as a director in enhancing these key areas?
Oh, that's actually quite easy for me. Like I have a lot of experience in hiring in the HR policy. In terms of sponsorship, I know a lot of community and stakeholders in the community. I'm not surprised I will be able to find sponsors for York Angel. What was the last one?
There are several governance, finance, and legal.
I see. Yeah, so governance, as I mentioned, I have received governance trainings, and finance. Obviously, I've done a lot of deals. I I can understand spreadsheets and financial statements. I've dealt with numerous accountants, make sure the statements are done properly or everything are transparent. And legal, obviously, I've done a lot of work in different fields with all kinds of lawyers, either it be investments or traffic ticket. Sorry, it's just my joke for the morning for you guys. So so I have lots of experience in the legal matters as well. I have I have a dispute with one of my transactions, business transactions. I took all the way to Ontario Appeal Court and I won. So I have lots of experiences, either be investment banking or litigation. So yeah, and traffic.
Great. And just one point, the governance training that you went through with the CVCA,
Yeah.
is it an accredited program?
Yeah.
And did you get a certification from them?
Yes, it's accredited, and I did receive a certification from them.
Great. Well, thank you so much, James. Are there any other comments from other members? And if not, we are on a tight schedule, so my apologies, James. But
yeah, no problem. Hey, listen, I know all of you, so I'm happy to see you guys.
Awesome, as we are to see you, James. And again, thank you for taking the time and joining us on this beautiful, bright Tuesday morning. And we will get back to you as soon as possible. We have to go through all of our discussions with all the candidates today and tomorrow, and then we'll get back to you.
Okay, great. Thanks. See you guys.
All right. Thank you so much.
No problem. See you.
Okay, he has left.
So we're Winston next.
Yes.
If you say so, Produce, I agree.
I'm just looking at your list.
That's what I'm doing, and I'm ticking them off as we go through. So
Me too. Thanks.
actually, I'm not sure if I've met Winston.
If Firdaus, I'm surprised I'm looking at the matrix here that we don't have governance as a specific knowledge skills area. You know, we have you know, government on the professional experience, but on the nothing on governance within the.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's.
I think last year we agreed that, you know, we don't have that much need on this board for government experience. I mean, we do one application for funding, right? And we felt that we had enough. So it's not, I mean, it's government as a, you know, as a professional experience is
Governance.
governments.
No,
governance.
Governance.
The one you are a chair.
Yeah, governance. Okay, so I think that's under, hang on.
It's the second item.
Really? I didn't see it either, maybe.
Board/governance experience.
Yeah, and it's just as far as board experience. So okay.
Yeah. You know, we started the matrix before you came, Galen. It was like 2.5 pages. Frank had given some from his charities. I had lots. And we said, you know what, we're a small organization. Let's keep it simple and just have broad headings, right?
Yeah.
Winston is here. We'll wait for 1 more minute. I'll text him.
It was Winston, there was no,
He joined recently.
Yeah, this is the one, there was no bio, no LinkedIn, couldn't find anything.
exactly, okay, it was a mystery.
But he is a member, correct?
Yes, he paid.
All right. All right, why don't we let?
Yes, thank you, I shall. Yep.
Good morning, Winston. How are you today? Oh, you're on mute.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you are. Now I could hear you.
Yeah. Hello.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today on this beautiful morning. And I want to, as I mentioned in my context email that I sent out to you, well, we do have limited time, around 10 minutes for a discussion. So monitor your time appropriately, because I do want to be able to go through all of the questions and get your feedback on all of the items. So the first one, as I mentioned in my email, was to get to know you better. So maybe if you can provide a brief introduction of yourself and your background, take 2 or 3 minutes to go through that. That'll enable us to get to know you a bit better.
Okay. So first of all, thank you very much, Andrew, and all the board members here. It's my pleasure to be here to introduce myself. Actually, I'm start doing those kind of venture capital investment as a capital manager in Intel Capital in the year of 1995. So it's a little bit long time ago. And at that time, I involved in a lot of those startups in the internet, in the something like Sohu, who's the Chinese version of Yahoo, and also 8848.com, also the Chinese version of Amazon. But that one is filled. I have no idea what happened, but a lot of the startups, as my past experience, I think maybe 95% of startup will goes to the other way. So after that, I started my own private equity fund and working as a kind of a PE fund manager, and also I'm still starting to helping people to do the startups in China, in US, and something like I invest more than hundreds of companies, all those startups from all different category, internet, something like the new energy, and also the some kind of service, internet service, the second generation internet, also something like the healthcare stuff. Because I'm interested in all those kind of new technology and new stuff. I want to helping those people who can make a little bit change for the world, I think. Yeah. So that's my brief introduction. Yeah.
Great, thank you so much, Winston.
No problem.
So we'll jump into the key questions that we'd like to have some feedback from you. So the first one is more of an icebreaker. Okay, what attracted you to apply for the director position for the York Angel Investors Board of Directors, and what experience do you feel you have that would make you an ideal director candidate?
Okay. From my point of view, the first thing, the YAI is a very successful organization and working smoothly and perfectly. It's got something like over 40 million investment from my knowledge. I think helping people, helping all those startups, it's one of my key vision, or just like my ego. I want to helping people, and I know this organization is very successful, and from my point of view, I got a lot of connection with all those kind of PE fund, also a little bit connection with all those kind of people who want to start up their own startups, and also I think I have a connection with all those kind of Chinese community. It's also, I think, from my point of view, I think we need a expansion. We need to make this this organization more successful. Even we have a lot of chance because the population here in the York region is growth, and also the environment, the ecosystem. I think I can help a little on this part. And also for my past experience, I'm also sitting on the board of the Markham Soccer Club. So it's a kind of a volunteer job there. I know it's a kind of a volunteer to make the system or make the organization better. Yeah.
Okay, great. And
Thank you.
actually, it's a good lead into my next question,
Yeah.
which is what experience do you have with not-for-profit organizations and having established strategies to achieve long-term sustainability within that not-for-profit field?
Yes. In the year of 2010, I started up in China. I started China Next Generation Education Foundation, which is a kind of nonprofit organization focused on all those kind of education. We're trying to change all those kind of education in China. We're helping those kind of people from the western part of China to build up all those kind of modern, use the modern technology, just like IT. We partner with Intel, partner with other IT company to set up a kind of library, the internet library in the western part of China. Thus, the program helping a lot of people to get to know into the internet, get to know the world, and also we have a kind of a project, just like we buying some kind of a lunch for those kind of people who live in poverty. A lot of people in China, their annual income is only something like 500 US dollar, or 500 RMB is equals to maybe 100 Canadian dollars. This is their what they call their annual income. So we got those kind of project running smoothly, and I'm still helping those people there. And for in the as the other part, I'm sitting in the board of Markham Soccer Club because I'm a kind of soccer player. I like to play soccer, and we start a lot of fun stuff, just like for the house league. We start a over 45 league this year, and it's pretty successful. We got something like over 200 players, just like you mean the over 45 players. Yeah, this still. So it's also my connection. Yeah, my connection with the Chinese Association. I got a 3 Asian team join into the into this year's over 45 league. That's the first time they see a lot of people from different. I think this is just like the problem of Canada. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
And can you describe your experience in developing and building a community and or managing stakeholder groups, including the angel investment community?
You mean for developing a kind of angel investor group?
Just within the general angel investment community, there are
Mhm.
lots of activities within
Yeah.
that community. And what's been your involvement in that community?
Okay. Something like when I was living in the Silicon Valley, I have our own private equity fund, and lots of time we in Stanford we gotta meet with all those kind of people. We have holding the party every week. There is a kind of party. We have 50 old member and 50 new member. Something like we invite all those kind of entrepreneur, just like the startup, and also some kind of a wealthy people or some kind of a successful people in there. We just helping them to know each other and helping them to build a relationship, and also trying to let all those kind of young entrepreneur or the entrepreneurs to present their idea. We got something like the group chat, or something like the party. We got something like the and also the pitch. Let them to show their vision, show their ability, those sort of stuff. And from that, we got I think I got half some more than something like 50 or 60 people who are around us. If I got some very good idea, something like just like one very good startup who's from the Chinese community, who's doing this outdoor what they call it, the outdoor ecosystem, the outdoor sofa and outdoor living, and we trying to pitch this kind of idea and get all those kind of I got a full angel investor together to help this young kids to start up his business. Yeah.
Okay, great. One last question, if we can go through it fairly quickly.
Yeah.
The York Angel Investors Board of Directors have established committees focused on setting strategies to advance its key strengths, such as membership and sponsorship relationships, governance, finance, HR, and legal. How do you envision your experience as a director in enhancing these areas?
Okay, I think first thing first, for the member community, I can just cause I already know a lot of people who want to involve in those kind of angel investor and angel investment. This is very good. I mean, this alternative for those kind of wealthy people who want to helping the other startups, and also you can get a return if the thing's good. So I can help on that. I have a lot of a connection here. I got a lot of people who's here. And also I got a lot of people who's here. I mean, a lot of new immigrants from China, from United States, from other place. They are trying to make something like they are doing their own startups. I can also get some kind of a portfolio, a deal portfolio for this organization. And also for the other part, I think I myself was a kind of a mentor. I like to be a mentor. So I also can help on this kind of startups. Because for us, because I already done a little bit in those kind of angel investment, and also helping those kind of startups. So I think I can help on that. I can do the mentor, do also the job, and also help them to do the next step. Like if you want to go to the growth equity fund, if you want to go to IPO, go to other side. I think that's my my 2 penny. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Winston, for taking the time. We are going through the process today and tomorrow and having discussions with all of the candidates. Once we've completed those discussions and render our decision, we will get back to you as soon as possible. So once again, thank you so much for taking the time this morning.
Thank you very much, Andrew, and thank you all the directors. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a nice day. Yeah.
All right. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Let me just lubricate my my raspy voice at this.
Alban
Oh.
is on waiting room. Shall I let him in? It's 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're on mute. Oh, there you are. Good morning, Alban. How are you?
Doing great, Angelo. How's everyone? Good morning to the rest of the board. Hey, Ajay. Hello, Anna. Hello, Firdaus.
Well, thank you for taking the time on this beautiful Tuesday morning, and I hope you had a wonderful long weekend. And I'd love to jump into this. As I mentioned in my email, this is going to be a 10-minute discussion, and so monitor your time appropriately. As I also indicated, for the benefit of those that aren't familiar with you, Alban, maybe if you can give a brief introduction of yourself and your background.
Absolutely. I'm happy to do that. So my name is Alban Jerome. I am, like most people in Canada, an immigrant. So before I came to Canada, I spent about 10 years in India working in the entrepreneurial space. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, journalism, and computer science, post which I went and did an MBA in media entertainment. And like many Indians, I ended up doing completely different to what I studied. I started my career in telecommunications, event management, community building, then switched over to working with entrepreneurs by first actually building a entrepreneur learning program for them with a company that was working in neuroscience called Dharma Life Sciences. And that's how I got my segue into working with startups and entrepreneurs. I have built communities back in India, nearly 200,000 people size communities. I worked with a number of startups in from idea validation all the way to fundraising. Been lucky with a few early successful exits, and I moved to Canada about 3 years ago. I worked extensively with a lot of startups. At this point, I have supported close to 100 plus startups at this stage. And it says my internet is unstable. I hope my line wasn't disrupted for any of you.
No, it's perfect. Thank you so
Wonderful.
much. Loud and clear. It's as if you were 3 feet away from me, Alban. So not to worry. So let me just jump into some of the questions. The first one is an icebreaker. What attracted you to apply for the director position for the York Angel Investors Board of Director? And what experience do you feel you have that would make you an ideal candidate?
Lovely question, Angelo. So I worked in my previous roles in a number of community building efforts, right? I have also gone ahead. I mean, I'm talking about networking events, putting workshops together, conferences, bringing entrepreneurs, investors, angel investors, industry experts, all of them, right? Building platforms for knowledge exchange, mentorship, basically building ecosystems back in India. And my work here in Canada has been an extension of what I've been able to do as an angel investor, but not as much as I would love to do in terms of what I could do for community building and growing the angel community here, as well as the huge number of entrepreneurs who keep coming knocking at our doors. And I felt the York Angel board would be a wonderful position for me to help do this and support you guys in the fabulous work that you're doing.
Great. And do you have any experience with not-for-profit organizations and establishing strategies to achieve their long-term sustainability?
Yes, I worked. So my dad, his entire career was working with non-for-profits, writing proposals and building committees. So I pretty much grown up in an environment of working with non-for-profit boards. Matter of fact, after his passing, I was on a number of boards in India as well. So a lot of our work there helped with both fundraising, increasing sustainability, as well as growing these organizations. I brought in close to, I think, about $50,000 in fundraising just for these organizations, in addition to growing their membership by almost 25% the 2 years that I was there before I left for Canada.
Great. And you may have touched on this already, Alvin, but so my apologies if I'm repeating.
No worries, Frank. Sorry, Angelo.
Not a problem. Describe your experience in developing and building a community and/or managing stakeholder groups, including the angel investment community.
Absolutely. So, like I mentioned a little earlier, one of the companies that I worked for was called Dharma Life Sciences. They were extensively in neuroscience space, and they were into personal development, right? I'm talking about corporate training programs and so forth. And I realized that there was a whole new market called entrepreneurs that they were not tapping into. And any entrepreneurial group is largely community and grassroots driven. So I ended up partnering with the India Entrepreneur Group Network in Bangalore. And I was able to grow a community of nearly 200,000 people in the 2 years that I worked with them, bringing in incubators, acceleration partners, angel investors to the board. I practically written the driving principles for JSS College's incubation program. This is helping young entrepreneurs grow successfully, which means bringing in all kinds of people to the table, from ecosystem partners to angel investors to Axel partners to the table, like, investment companies. So I pretty much run the entire gambit at doing that.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, Alvin.
Thank you.
So the York Angel Investors Board of Directors have established committees focused on setting strategies to advance its key strengths, such as membership / sponsorship relationships, governance, finance, HR, and legal. How do you envision your experience as a director in enhancing these key areas?
That's a very interesting question, Angelo, because when I first did apply, I was thinking what value addition I could bring in. I do have, like I mentioned, close to a decade's experience in community building, as well as working on membership and sponsorship committees. Since I was practically been doing that for the last 5 years in India before I came here. And those are areas I would love to bring in, value addition to. I did a bit of groundwork and I realized we have close to 200 plus angel investors whole of Canada, but Ontario is boasting about only about 3,000-4,000 of them. I believe being the most populous province, we definitely have a lot more angel investors we've not tapped into, networks that we've not leveraged. And those are the areas that I would love to focus my attention on as a director. I feel like we have barely scraped the surface. I know you guys have done a great job, and but the COVID has changed the world a bit. And I think in this post-COVID world, I would love to be able to shake things up and help the board in the best way possible.
Great. Building that network is always important. So thank you so much, Alvin. If there aren't any other questions from my colleagues, I would like to.
I have a question.
Sure.
So Alvin, I couldn't tell from your application, are you based in the GTA or in Vancouver?
I'm based in GTA. I live down here in Lakeshore.
Okay, because your address showed Vancouver, so I just wanted to
Oh,
clarify.
well, we have offices both sides of the
Yeah,
coast.
yeah,
right?
no, yeah, I realize that.
You never put all your eggs in one basket. At the same time, you make sure your home base is strong as well.
Right, perfect, thank you.
Galen has raised his hand.
Hey, Alvin, how you doing?
Doing
Thank
great,
you
Galen.
for applying for the role. I'm just, maybe if you can give a little bit of background sort of on the management side and risk management and strategy. Just a little bit around that. I don't kind of see that from the background. I just want to get a sense of how those elements play into your overall background.
Sure, Galen. So if I'm understanding the question correctly, you want me to talk about two parts. One, my experience in management, as well as my experience in risk management.
Yeah, yeah. So management and strategy, and then overall risk management.
Sure. So a large part of my strategy management comes into the fact that I worked with startups across the board, from early nascent ones to companies raising their Series A, right? So I understand a lot about how different strategies are at play at different levels. For example, a company at its early stage isn't really looking for a large scale entry in the market. They just want the first 100 customers in. Whereas Series A company is largely talking about portfolio, increasing its revenue and so forth. Now, in terms of risk management, there are different philosophies that you can follow, but I generally believe a well-entrenched moat is the most safest way to assess if the investment is worth its time or not. Most companies have a flashy product and so forth, but when it comes to defensibility or ability to be copied, they usually don't have much things in reserve. A common oversight among startups, because everybody's in love with their idea, they think nobody else is going to think the exact same way they thought.
Great. Super. Thank you very much, Alvin.
Most welcome.
All right, Alvin, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We are in the process of having discussions with the candidates today and tomorrow. And then we'll be making our decision shortly after that. So we will get back to you as soon as we've gone through all of our discussions and made our decisions. So hang tight and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And once again, thank you so much.
No worries. It's lovely to meet all of you guys, and have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Take care.
He has left.
Oops. Okay, from a timing point of view, I think we're still on track.
Very
Yeah,
much
timing's
so.
timing's going good. Yeah,
Yeah, very much so. Thank
very
you.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, we
We
still have a couple of
we
minutes.
ran right up against the wall with Winston, and Alvin brought us back on track. So
Yeah.
real difference in the styles of answering questions. That was like there you can see exactly somebody who meanders through an answer versus someone who gets to the point.
Almost so laser focused, right? And I really appreciate Alvin for getting us back on.
Technical question for you, Galen.
Yeah.
Can I pause the recording while this 5 minutes, or
Yes, we can.
and go back to it?
Yeah, just hit there's the little
Pause button?
Pause, yeah, and when you want to start again, just hit the play.
Okay. Well, I'm going to leave this one. It's only 1 minute left. So next one is, I believe, just Joss, if I'm not mistaken.
So someone, who is this person?
So
We
Anna,
don't know.
she was on the board previously, right? A few occasions.
Yes,
Okay.
there she is. Give a minute or bring her in.
I mean, we're probably good to go.
Yes.
Yeah, let's bring her in. I
Yeah,
think.
thank you.
Good morning, Jess.
You're on mute.
You're on mute. My,
Oh, still mute.
still mute. There you go.
Good morning, everybody. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much, Jess, for joining us this morning to have a quick conversation. I hope that you had an amazing long weekend,
I
and
did, thank you.
knowing you, you're all over the place, right? Going from
I was in multiple cities. It was good, thank you. It was all good, and I hope everyone else had a great one as well.
Oh, thank you so much. I've been helping my wife who had some minor surgery, and but she's feeling much better. So
Good, I'm glad to hear that.
So I want to just preface this, Jess. I did send out a context email that you would have received that gave you some context to being a participant in the York Angel Investors, although you have a lot of that experience and background. But for the benefit of us, let me sort of, and we only have like 10 minutes, right, for this discussion. So if you can spend 2 to 3 minutes just giving a brief introduction to yourself and your background, that would be fantastic.
Absolutely. Well, it's my pleasure to be here chatting with you guys in a different context than over a cocktail after a great investment meeting. For those of you that only know me sort of in the last couple of years, my previous background was in tech as an entrepreneur in online marketing. So I started that firm right out of university, and it was an agency. It continues to operate to this day. But in 2011, I took a bit of a step back and started focusing more on angel investing. And so with my two partners, we started Spider Capital, and we grew that. We did over 55 investments, and that continues to operate today. I'm the managing partner for that. In 2014, I had the privilege of joining York Angels as a executive director, and I worked with York Angels for a number of years in an exciting time where there was a lot of growth opportunities to reach out within the community and also to build our membership. And we had a fantastic team and really a cohesive unit, worked very hard, won a number of awards, and grew to be the second largest in Canada, and just had the most amazing angel members, which really contributed to it being a family and a community. During that time as well, I joined the NACO board. So I just finished it was either my 6 or my 7-year run there, as being active within the NACO board in terms of organizing the summits, being on the marketing committee, being on the HR committee, et cetera, and so on. After York Angels, I had the opportunity to help grow Equation Angels, which was a venture bringing together first 3 and then 4 angel groups. And it was a really exciting time, a different perspective than what I'd had from the York Angels side. And I started to run with that, and it was quite interesting. And then on the personal side, I had to take a step back because of John's illness. And so that was the time when I stepped back from sort of operational duties within the angel world. But I continued on the NACO board. I continued to be on Helix, which is the Seneca board. So I'm on their advisory board, I'm on their investment committee. I continue to do work with Queen's University, and more of late, I've become an investing partner at the Canada Fund. So still active within the investing community, but not on the operational side.
Great. Thank you so much. And I think you actually touched on a few items in my question. So if there's a bit of a repeat, humor me, okay, Jess?
It's all about Angelo being happy.
Exactly. So the first one is the icebreaker. What attracted you to apply for the director position for the York Angel Investors Board of Directors? And what experience do you feel you have that would make you an ideal candidate?
Absolutely. So what attracted me is I feel on a personal level, I feel like it's home. every time I come back, it is just the place that I know I'm supposed to be when it comes to my investing and the angel community. I've loved to see the rise within York Angels, the new members. I love working with new members and getting to know them and making them feel welcome, because I think collegiality is one of the things that's really important and also really differentiates York Angels. Everyone always says once they've attended a York Angels meeting, they feel like they have always been welcome there. And I don't know that every group has that same feeling. And in terms of my experience that would be useful, I've been doing not-for-profit boards since I was 14. And I've always been on boards my entire life. So for many years, I was on the Queen's Alumni Board. I was the
You went into mute. I'm not sure
There.
what happened. Okay.
Sorry about that. The laptop is exactly 12 hours old. So yeah, I don't know what it's doing. Anyways, so I was on the Queen's board for the Queen's Alumni Board for, I think it was almost 10 years. I was president of that. So that's a not-for-profit experience, different style, but definitely not-for-profit. My experience within NACO had a lot to do with finance, not-for-profit management, but also community building. And I think that's something that's really important. Our ecosystem, it needs a lot of collaboration, because actually as not-for-profits and as sort of, if we work as little islands, we won't be able to maybe accomplish quite as much. But when you can mobilize multiple groups and work cohesively, whether it is lobbying for funding, whether it is on a specific deal to get the full raise, the collaboration is really key. So good community relations, both locally but across the country. I think those are things that we can really leverage. Also for deal flow, that's something that's very useful. Within the context of Helix, it is an incubator at Seneca. So I was on the initial board for their advisory board, but also part of the investment committee. They have a very small micro grant fund that is to help with early stage startups. So I've been on that for a number of years, looking at how we can deploy capital for those way pre-York Angels, but with the thought process that then there is a continuum as they continue to grow, and there's an opportunity to work with organizations like York Angels as they continue to grow. So that's a different side, seeing the incubator accelerator side. And then Canada Fund as an investing partner there. Obviously, I've put my money in, but I'm also on the investing management side of things. So the investing committee, but also more strategically in terms of how we grow it as a business. So it's sort of the continuum of capital. That one is angel based and looks to bring companies from overseas to Canada to land, expand, and so on. But my whole life has really been in not-for-profit in terms of my volunteer life, and it started back in high school and it's been continual since. So those skills are transferable regardless of what the area is, whether it's education, whether it's politics, whether it's angel investing. And I look forward to contributing to York Angels.
Okay, so you stole my thunder, because the next question is really focused on this area.
Okay.
But maybe you can just ask one brief question. So are you still on the NACO board of directors then?
I timed out in the December AGM. So I did my full commitment. So still I do some committee work, we do some work together, but not on the actual board of directors.
Okay. So this question, maybe because you've touched on it already, do you have any experience? I'm not sure about this, with not-for-profit organizations and establishing strategies to achieve long-term stability. Maybe if you can pinpoint one or two quick examples, because you already did go through this.
Absolutely. So I feel that this is somewhat in my wheelhouse based on experience. Not-for-profit is where I've done all my volunteer work in terms of being able to give back. And in terms of the strategy, every organization that I've been a part of has had to go through a rebirth. A lot of it's related to funding, and regardless of what the field is, whether it's angel investing, whether it's politics, whether it's education, funding becomes a crux. for a not-for-profit, and there's a lot of stewardship from the board that is required to help see it to the next level. But also, I've worked through strategic planning because there's many different aspects that go into making a strong board. So some of that has to do with governance, that has to do with terms, has to do with transparency, and so on. So working on the strategic plans to grow an organization, to each of the directors to contribute to the best of their abilities, and to, if there's a skills matrix and a variety of skills that are brought forward in order to create a really strong governance board, that's really important. And in terms of the strategic side, it's really important to work with an executive director and the actual team to provide them the support that they need to leverage your contacts and to provide the guidance that you can, while not stepping on the day-to-day toes of those that are operational, but contributing in any way you can to help grow an organization. And when you undertake a job as a director, you're lending your credibility and reputation to the organization, but also, you're taking on the responsibility of fulfilling what you said you were going to do. It's not just another line on your LinkedIn. It's actually putting your money where your mouth is, or putting your time where your suggestions are. But yes, I have some experience in working with not-for-profits and helping with the strategic growth and development.
Awesome. And again, you've covered these items too. Describe your experience in developing and building community and/or managing stakeholder groups, including the angel investment community.
Okay, so I mean, some of you may be aware that with my role at York Angels as executive director, a lot of what I did was outreach, growing our profile within the community. So we became the angel group of choice. And to this day, I maintain those contacts. One of the things that I've always enjoyed is that I see these as personal contacts. I see the people within the ecosystem as friends, and that allows you to leverage and work more closely together. The building of the community has many sides. It has to do with external partners. It has to do also, though, with the members within the organization feeling like they truly belong and that they have a say and a stake, and that they are proud to be members and want to bring other people forward. And in terms of the community engagement, I think a lot has to do with outreach and letting people know what your focus is at the time, the agenda, inviting them to events, having transparency, and also supporting their events, their initiatives, and so on, to build engagement that way across the ecosystem. In other contexts, though, sometimes it's working with different members within an internal organization. So when I think of that, I think of as the chair of the Queen's Board, we worked with undergrads, we worked with graduates, but we also had representatives from staff and from the professors, all having different viewpoints, but having to bring them together and work to, my favorite phrase, you may have heard it before, herd cats, to bring them along on a similar topic. And so, a lot of it is transparency and communication that really helps build the feeling of community. So whether it's internal or external, I think a lot of the execution's the same way. Honesty, transparency, good communication, openness, and supporting each other in the ways that we can. And that continues to build a community. One of the other things, though, I think is part of the secret sauce is fun. People have to enjoy what they're doing, especially if it's in a volunteer capacity or if it's in a by choice membership capacity. So bringing fun, enjoyment, and friendship to it allows them to enjoy what they're doing, and therefore making it an organization of choice where they wish to spend their extra time.
Great. And one last question, if we could go through it
Absolutely.
The York Angel Investors Board of Directors have established committees focused on setting strategies to advance its key strengths, such as membership and sponsorship relationships, governance, finance, HR, and legal. How do you envision your experience as a director in enhancing these key areas?
Well, I think that I have experience in a number of different areas. So one, I'd be happy to help in multiple areas, but I think, from your perspective, you almost want to look at the skills matrix of who's coming in before you decide where to deploy. Certainly I have a lot of the community connections that I'm happy to work with, and previously had strong sponsor connections and happy to continue leveraging them. Marketing and communications is another area that I have many years experience on. So to augment what is happening internally. And in terms of HR, I was on the NACO HR committee and I've done HR on the Queen side as well. So in terms of sort of more the process side of HR and so on, I'm happy to leverage that. But from your perspective, I think it's a matter of you look at the skills matrix of what the new board is and then apply sort of, choose which skill sets you want to leverage most. But I think that's one of the valuable things about the board is that everyone brings a unique perspective to the table, and the skill sets that they can leverage on a particular committee help York Angels expand within that area.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jess, for taking the time this morning. So
It was
we
a
are
pleasure.
going through discussions today and tomorrow.
Okay.
And then we will be rendering our decision. So as soon as we do that, we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Okay. Do you have a rough timeline in mind?
Definitely by the end of the week. Okay.
Okay, lovely. Terrific. And are there any questions that I can answer further or any details that I can bore you with?
Well, from my side, I think you've covered all of the elements.
Well, I tried to be succinct, but I'm happy to answer any further questions if there are any. Otherwise, I wish you the best of luck with the rest of your calls. And thank you so much for your time today, guys.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great one. Take care.
Okay, bye, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oops.
Perfect timing. Did you got the
Hold on, guys. How do you remove? Can you remove Jess? Yeah. Okay, I just see Annie. Can I let her in? It's already past 1 minute.
Yes. Let's bring her in.
Hi, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yes. Thank you so much. Wonderful seeing you, Dr. Annie. How are you?
I'm good, Angelo. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Thank you for taking the time to have a chat with us on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Although I'm in the basement, so I'm not sure what outside looks like right now, and it could have changed since this morning.
Right, I'm sure.
Great. So I'm as I mentioned in my the context email that I sent out to you, we're going to have a quick discussion with you, 10 minutes. So monitor your time appropriately.
Sure.
And this is an opportunity for us to get to know you better. And as I mentioned in my email, what I'd like to start off with is to have you quickly, take 2 or 3 minutes to provide a brief introduction to yourself and your background.
Sure, absolutely. So I'd like to first of all thank each one of you for giving me this opportunity to be able to speak to you guys in person and apply for this position. I'm extremely excited to be a part of the York Angels family. I can call it a family because I really saw the bond in the last investor meeting. So I'm really happy to be here. I'll start by talking about myself. So good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Annie Chawla. I started my career with completing my bachelor's of sociology. I come from a family of lawyers, family of criminal lawyers and business lawyers. So my inclination towards law was from day one. And I started with a bachelor's of law. So I have 2 bachelor degrees, one in sociology and one in law. Post my bachelor's, I completed a master's in law in business. And then post that, I pursued doctorate in law. So I've studied law for over a decade. I'm still planning to do it further. I'm still planning to do DLit, which is doctorate in literatures. Hopefully I'll complete that soon. As far as my experience is concerned in the legal sector, I started with a lot of banking institutions, financial institutions. So I worked a lot with the Barclays Bank, which is a UK-based bank. Post that, I started working with JP Morgan Chase. I've had a long association with Chase Bank in the risk management division. And post that, I worked with a lot of consulting firms like Thomson Reuters and Ernst & Young. Now I'm new in Canada. I've lived here for a little over 1 year with my husband and my little baby who's 4 years old. We were in the US for about 10 years. And in 2017, me and my husband has a very long history with financial and banking institutions. He's an investment banker. And we started our own company, which is called 62 Miles in 2017. So it's been a little over 5 years. We started the firm and we've been pretty successful. I take care of due diligence and legal aspect, anything related to legal and compliance. I take care of that in the company. Now, with my extensive background in risk management, I take care of risk assessment and risk monitoring and reporting, as well as, making any strategies for the company, due diligence. I take care of all of that for the company. So this is my background, and I've now recently moved to Canada. We are actually setting up our business here now. We still have an office back in New York City, but we're just winding up from there and just hiring new employees here in Canada so we can have our operations here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And I learned so much just in your brief description. Thank you so much. So I'd like to jump into the questions, and I want to be respectful of time for everyone. So the first one is the icebreaker. What attracted you to apply for the director position for the York Angel Investors Board of Directors? And what experience do you feel you have that would make you an ideal candidate?
Now, that's a fantastic question, Angelo. So I'd like to first start by saying that I'm very deeply passionate about, I'm very passionate about supporting and fostering entrepreneurship and innovation. I'm all about women empowerment. We've actually funded a lot of women-led tech companies. Angel investor groups play a very crucial role in providing funding and mentorship to startups, helping them grow and succeed. So being a part of such an organization like yourself, it aligns with my personal values and professional interests. And as you all are aware, I have a very extensive experience in big financial institutions and consulting firms, which has exposed me to a very diverse range of industries and business models. I've worked very closely with startups, advising them on legal and financial matters, which has helped them navigate complex regulatory frameworks, right? So this experience has given me a very valuable insight into the challenges that are faced by early stage companies and the importance of smart investments and strategic decision making. Additionally, I did just inform you guys that I'm a doctorate in business law. It has given me and provided me with a very strong foundation in corporate governance and risk management and legal compliance. So I understand very well the importance of effective governance structures and the need for transparent and ethical practices within an organization. So overall, my background, my experience, and my passion for supporting entrepreneurships makes me an ideal candidate for this role. I believe I can just contribute my experience in business law, financial acumen, and strategic thinking, because I've had a very extensive experience in risk management also with Chase Bank. It will help the organization identify promising investment opportunities, provide any valuable guidance to the portfolio companies, and drive the overall success of York Angels.
Great, thank you so much. Next question is, do you have any experience with not-for-profit organizations and establishing strategies with them to achieve long-term sustainability?
Sure. And yes, the answer is yes. I have engaged with not-for-profit organizations in various capacities. I think I didn't inform you all that I was actually doing postdoctoral research for 2 years at New York University. And through New York University, I was, I became a part of the Legal Action Center. I don't know if you guys have heard of this name. Legal Action Center is a non-profit law and policy organization which is based in New York City. It's a very old organization which was founded in 1973. And we had a mission to fight discrimination against individuals with histories of addictions, HIV, AIDS, or criminal records, and to advocate for their rights, of course. So my role was to fight for the privacy rights of individuals who are seeking treatment for substance use disorders or living with HIV/AIDS. So my core role was legal compliance. Okay, as a lawyer, they expected me to make sure that we're complying with the relevant laws, regulations, and reporting requirements. Secondly, governance and board support. So I provided guidance on governance best practices and supporting the board of directors in fulfilling their fiduciary duties, which includes, as a lawyer, you have to make sure that you review the governance policies, you facilitate board meetings, you ensure compliance with legal and ethical standards. And yes, I would like to highlight this is because I read about the Not-for-Profit Organization Act, which recently changed in Canada last year. It took effect actually in October last year, and it will apply to us as well. So if I'm on the board, we have to make sure that we're complying with the new law, right? Thirdly, contract review and negotiation. My very important role at this firm was that I was reviewing and negotiating contracts, such as any vendor agreements, leases, partnerships. So we're ensuring that the organization's interests are protected and that these agreements align with the organization's missions and goals, right? Now, I also took care, I have a little bit of an experience in trademark registration as well, copyright protection and licensing agreements. So I was taking care of that as well. Another division which they asked me to take care of was HR, human resources. So my guidance was really, really instrumental on employment law matters, including drafting any employment contracts, policies, procedures. So, we made sure that we're assisting with legal compliance in hiring and employee benefits, termination, workplace issues, anything and everything related to employment issues, right? Now, again, I'll again repeat myself. I have risk management experience. So I was conducting risk assessments for the Legal Aid organization, and we developed risk management strategies. We provided guidance on insurance coverage and liability issues. And finally, a very important aspect for a not-for-profit organization is having legal representation in case if there is a legal dispute or a conflict that arises, right? So as a lawyer, it is important for you to make sure that you resolve this conflict through different ADR mechanisms, for example, negotiation, mediation, or if it's utmost necessary, then litigation. Right. So my involvement was in these areas with this not-for-profit organization. I'm still associated with them, not actively involved because I'm actually focusing on my business right now, but I still actually guide them whenever it is required.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for being a part of that organization. I think the goals and the objectives that you described are very near and dear to my heart. So
absolutely, absolutely. I've met a lot of people over there. I've met these individuals myself who have gone through a lot of a tough time actually, and it was a pleasure actually serving them and talking to them in person.
Great. So let's quickly go through. I just have 2 quick questions for you.
Sure.
So the first one is describe your experience in developing and building a community and or managing stakeholder groups, including the angel investment community. And I think you've touched on some of these things, but so if you can just briefly.
Yes. Absolutely, absolutely. So with my background in business law and I have an extensive background in banking and consulting firms, I understand the importance of building strong relationship with members and sponsors. So I would actually actively engage with current and potential members and sponsors, identify the needs and expectations. I've done that with stakeholders as well. Okay, I've had the opportunity to engage with various stakeholders groups and foster community development. The first important aspect for me is relationship building. I have worked extensively in collaborative environments, building relationship with diverse stakeholders, including clients, colleagues, and industry professionals. So I understand the importance of trust, effective communication, like, that the other day in the investor meet, Angela spoke about it, effective communication and building a strong relationship, and actively engaging in fostering strong relationships. That's one for me. Secondly, networking is really important. Like, this is one of the goals at York Angels as well, networking, like we have the investor meet every month. Thirdly, advisory role. As a lawyer, I have advised startups and entrepreneurs on legal, financial, and strategic matters. This involvement has provided me with insights into the needs and challenges which are faced by the startups and early stage companies, including within the angel investment community. So I understand the importance of providing mentorship, guidance, and support to these stakeholders. And the most important aspect is collaborative decision making. We all know that we come from different backgrounds. We have our own set of opinions. I have been a part of multidisciplinary teams wherever I've worked, and committees where collaborative decision making was very crucial. So I value diverse perspectives, diverse opinions, and believe in creating an inclusive environment where all our stakeholders can contribute to the decision-making process, which will ensure that the interest of York Angels or any other relevant stakeholders is represented equally. So that's my contribution towards stakeholder groups and the angel investment community.
All right, last one.
Okay.
And the York Angel Investors Board of Directors have established committees focused on setting strategies to advance its key strengths, such as membership and sponsorship relationships, governance, finance, HR, and legal. How do you envision your experience as a director in enhancing these key areas?
All right, that's again a very, very good question. So I will focus on 4 aspects. The first is governance, definitely. I have a wealth of knowledge in corporate governance and risk management. I would definitely contribute to strengthening the governance framework of the organization. And this includes ensuring any transparent decision-making, effective board oversight, or adhering to any regulatory requirements. That will be my primary responsibility as a lawyer. And my active participation in board meetings, committees, and strategic planning sessions, providing any insights and perspectives to help shape York Angels' direction as an organization. Secondly, I can also contribute to the financial management of the organization. I've had an experience with banking as well. So I would work closely with the finance committee to review any financial statements, assess any investment opportunities, monitor the financial health of the organization, make sure that we have revenue coming in. If there's no revenue coming in, we need to identify the areas why we're lagging behind. Thirdly, HR. I've had experience with HR with the legal aid firm as well at New York. So my active involvement in HR committee in developing and implementing effective HR strategy. I would contribute to talent acquisition efforts, ensuring any diversity and inclusion. We have all diverse candidates from different genres coming in, and fostering a positive and supportive work culture. And finally, legal, which is my strongest my expertise is legal. With my doctorate in business law, I would bring a very strong legal perspective to the organization, because I would work closely with the legal committee to ensure to ensure compliance with relevant laws and regulations. So my role would be to review legal contracts, provide guidance on legal matters, assist in mitigating legal risk. This will be my overall contribution towards the organization. And I'm actually completely dedicated to collaborating with the board, committees, and stakeholders. I've been an excellent student, as my teachers say. I've been an excellent employee, dedicated employee. So I'm extremely excited to working with you all and drive positive outcomes, and so we can further the organization's goals in these respective areas.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Annie, and it was a pleasure having you join us. This
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Whether I'm a board member or not, I'm extremely happy to be a part of York Angels, and I will do as much as I can as a lawyer, and will contribute to the maximum.
Thank you so much. So we are having discussions today and tomorrow.
Sure.
And then after that, we'll be rendering our decision. So we will get back to you as soon as possible with our decision.
Absolutely.
If you can just bear with us while we go through our discussions.
Please take all your time. May the best man or woman get the position, because it's important that it's in the we have to work towards getting our organization to the next level. Whoever is the board member, right? That's should be the primary goal.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And I do want to connect with you sometime to find out a little bit more about the derivation of the name 62 miles, but that's a topic for another.
Sure, absolutely. We'll connect soon and I will give you an insight on that. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
everybody, for your time. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Dr. Annie has left, so it's just us.
Great.
Frank didn't join either. He thought he will jump in at 10 to 11. So
Yeah, I was a little bit confused because at one point there seemed to be a message that said 2 people in the waiting room. Or was that just seeing double? I don't know.
I didn't see any, but
But he didn't text me or anything like that, at least not that I know of. So
yeah, actually,
Maurizio moved computers, and so at one point in time, I think he came in the waiting room because he
yes,
but
yes.
from what he was-
Yeah, and I think Annie actually, Dr. Annie did MOU already contributed to your Angels.
I did receive a text. My apologies, but I've been so focused on our discussion.
Mauricio, could you check your junk mail, please? I think it said it went to your junk mail. It's on the Hotmail email ID.
What went to junk mail?
The MOU.
Oh, the MOU.
By the way, I signed off on.
I checked my junk and I didn't see it.
Okay.
Maybe I deleted. If I am
no
in
worries.
the phone, could you please resend it to me because I didn't get it.
No worries. I'll look after it.
Anna, in the chat, Bezad has asked about the voting link, and I think he missed the beginning of our meeting this morning because he was trying to connect.
Yeah.
Can you just articulate that for him?
I'll let the chair articulate it for him.
Yeah, okay. Will do.
Well, go ahead, Angela. He's waiting, I think.
Who's waiting?
Oh, no. Bezad. So thanks for those answering it.
No, but I didn't answer it in detail. So, because it's going to be after the meeting tomorrow, after the last interview, and then it's going to be open until everybody's voted basically for a day, right?
Yes.
Does that answer your question?
Oh, Basad, you're still on. My apologies. I didn't see you there. So the link will be sent out at the end of the interviews tomorrow. And then it will be opened up for our voting.
And the reason is the system doesn't allow you to vote on day one partially and then go back in again. You have to vote for the full 4 candidates in one shot.
Yeah.
Anyway, today went well. I think everybody did really good. I wish we had 10 spots.
Yeah, me too. They're all good. I mean, of course.
So are you suggesting a widespread replacement?
No. I'm just saying that they're also good, right? And and unfortunately, some will be disappointed. So we have to really manage the news well because they are our members. We want them to continue. But some of them were good. They said even if I get in or not, I'll still be a member and active and so on. So it was good to hear as well.
Yeah,
and also what I learned was that as going through the matrix, a lot of our, from the board matrix standpoint, a lot of the things we need, a lot of these people fill, right?
Yep.
Like HR, like legal, some of the newer areas that we're focusing on.
Risk management,
Risk,
all
yeah.
that, yeah. all
Yeah.
that.
Legal, governance. So very good.
Governance, yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Marketing.
Even finance, Mauricio.
Yeah, even finance.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, excellent
Angelo,
candidates.
I was pleased with how things went, and so tomorrow, 2, 4, 6, 7, we have 4, right?
5.
Unless,
Four.
unless Linda pops in later today.
Yeah.
And I also realized something today, that we actually do have people with extensive York background as well, right? James has been with us for a very long while. Jess has, I still remember meeting Jess in one of my first York Angel meetings back, I guess, way, way long back when she was the ED.
Mm.
And yeah, so a lot of deep York expertise from previous times.
Absolutely.
And I just want to say, Angelo, you did a great job of managing these sessions. So thanks for making it so
Yes,
efficient.
good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. Hopefully I can live up to those comments tomorrow.
Angelo, you're always awesome, man. We've seen you for years now.
Angela, I just saw Bezad's hand flashing.
Yeah.
It's down now.
Yeah, I saw that. No,
Bezad?
he was
Yeah.
clapping.
Oh, clapping. Okay.
Yeah. You got to get your emojis, Ferdos.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything else?
All right, everyone. No, thank you so much, and thank you for jumping in. I actually learned a lot today, and I'm extremely pleased with what I heard from all of the individuals, quite frankly. So thank you so much. And
We're all set for later today, right?
yeah, we're all set
Yeah.
for later today. I gotta jump because I gotta do some housekeeping with Sen for the meeting tomorrow and